Hello, everybody. Meteorologist Greg D. Good evening from the Channel 3 Weather Studios here in Cleveland. It is halftime, the Rams and the Seahawks. As you take a break from the game, wanted to update you on the forecast for tomorrow after this morning's horrendous commute. And the snow that we're still seeing out there now, I think it's important to look forward into the forecast for tomorrow, not just the morning, but tomorrow night. This is going to be a very busy weather weekend for us here in Northeast Ohio with the lake snow winding down and another winter storm on the way to start the weekend. It's going to get busy here in the Weather Center. So let me show you what's going on in terms of the actual forecast here and the actual snow right now. Now, we are still left over with lake snow. That is back over towards Lake, extreme northeast Cuyahoga County, over towards northern Geauga County. It hasn't been particularly heavy, but it has been consistent, and it is starting to cause a couple of issues in terms of visibility and the amounts of snow. We can look at some of the reports here. 2.5 inches of snow in Mentor in the last 12 hours. Northern Geauga County, 2.8 inches of snow in Chardon. That was as of 7:15. It's been snowing since then. 2 inches in Chardon, another report out of this evening, and then another 3 inches in the Thompson Township. That report coming in about an hour and 45 minutes ago. Over toward Paynesville, 24-hour snowfall total 2.5 inches. So you see, there hasn't been a lot. There's just been enough to cause some issues. And you see the motion of the snow. It's just basically sitting there with portions of I-90 and the Shoreway being most affected. Some of these flurries extend into northeastern Cuyahoga County. We'll take you closer, just north of Cleveland Heights. Brattonall over toward Euclid. I think it's flurries around Brattonall. We've seen on and off flurries around downtown Cleveland. But you really get past Cleveland into Euclid, and that's when you really start to see enough snow to cause issues. And of course then Wickliffe, Eastlake, Kirtland Hills, Mentor, over toward Willoughby Hills, Mayfield, maybe around Highland Heights, Mayfield Heights, getting some flurries. A lot of the activity north of 322, that's the road right out here. It's Mayfield Road, 322, extending back out into Geauga County. North of that is where the snow is, and a lot of it is south of Perry and Madison. It's a very thin band, but enough to cause some issues. Elsewhere, there is no snow. I do not expect this to become a west side snow. In fact, I think this band is starting to shift. I'm going to take this animation over the last 6 hours. And what you'll notice is at the beginning of the animation, the band is oriented very west to east. Now the northern extent of it, just ever so slightly oriented more west-northwest to east-southeast. The winds here are shifting, and as that shift continues, the band will weaken. It's going to pass over a narrower portion of the lake. The snow will not be as heavy, and it's a very light, fluffy, dry snow almost in a way, so the accumulations will really be cut down, and eventually we're going to lose this thing as we go into the overnight. Let's take a look at some of the traffic here. Reports from I-90 here in the Shoreway. Folks in Lake County, the authorities there, suggesting that if you do not have to travel through Lake County overnight and tonight, do not do it. That is not the place to go. The roads are not in good shape. We are seeing snow here. We are seeing slick lanes, and in some places the interstate reduced to just one lane, and it's not a good lane at that. So there are already going to be cars out there that have to travel through there. They have no choice. So let's not put any additional vehicles out there if we don't have to. I would wait until morning or tomorrow if you've got to make that trip into Ashtabula County, or if you're coming out of Ashtabula County into Cuyahoga or Lake County. If you could wait until tomorrow morning, that would be the way to go. So the traffic's slow here. You see the oranges and the reds. Those are indicating slow roadways. Really starts at the 9271 interchange and goes all the way back up toward the Madison area. Hit and miss slow spots here. Take a look at some of the cameras that we've got access to, and here's what I mean. This is way out there. This is the Shoreway west of 305, 305th Street. There are 2 lanes available in either direction, but they are not in good shape with snow in between, so even changing lanes can be tricky here. This view pointed toward the southwest, so you're looking back toward Cleveland. The cars coming toward you are outbound. The cars heading away from you, inbound, heading into Cleveland, and you see not in the best shape, and there's not a lot of traffic out there, thank goodness. Here's another look at I-90 at State Route 91. This is Willoughby Hills. Low visibility. That's another thing that's really been an issue here, are reduced visibilities. In fact, I can actually pull those up for you and see what we can get on the visibility map. Ashtabula 1.7 miles, downtown 5 miles, but in between you see a lot of shading here. These are visibilities of a mile or less. Northeast Cuyahoga, northern Geauga, and then Lake County. The elevations, the elevated areas, will bring you closer to the bottom of the clouds, and in some cases you may be driving into the clouds. It'll look like fog, reducing visibilities even farther. And that's why these areas of I-90 tend to be so dangerous, is there's quick elevation changes that push you up into the clouds, then you get snow, then you get wind, and now you get blowing snow today with the cold temperatures, and it's just not a good situation to be out in if you don't have to. Lake snow warnings continue in the primary snow belt, Lake, Geauga, Ashtabula County. Those go through 10 o'clock on Friday morning. I think the worst of it is going to be over before that. Cuyahoga County is under lake snow advisory until 4 o'clock, and Lorain County may be under that advisory too. It doesn't show up here because of the wind chill advisory, so let me take the wind chill advisory off. We'll talk about that here. No, okay, Lorain County is out of it. So Lorain County is now out of it. It's just Cuyahoga, and it's northeastern Cuyahoga. No one on the west side is affected by this. Here is that wind chill advisory. Everyone else is just extremely cold, with wind chills dropping below zero. We're talking about 10, 15, maybe 20 degrees. So, in the primary snow belt, we may have eye alerts tomorrow because of the snow that we're seeing overnight. Everyone else, we may see eye alerts tomorrow because of cold. That is based on school district and road conditions and what every single superintendent decides is the right call. I have no idea what they're going to decide, but you definitely want to tune in tomorrow morning. We've got instant eye alerts. As soon as they say school is closed, they pop up at the bottom of the screen, and you know exactly if you're going to school or not. And the teachers, if you're going to work. So we definitely have you covered tomorrow. We start at 4:30 in the morning on Channel 3, go right through 7. We're there exactly when you need us. Take a look at the larger picture here. Notice the lake snow. Here's a big change. It's winding down in Michigan. You don't really see a lot of lake effect now in the lower portions of Michigan. That is dying down as the winds are changing direction, and we watch the approach of our next storm system back here towards the west. This is an area of low pressure off of Southern California. I got to talk about this because this thing is going to cause a havoc Friday night here into Saturday morning. It does not look nice at all around our neck of the woods as this area of low pressure moves in. This thing is going to try to pull up a lot of warm air from the south. The problem is we've got, let me get rid of these areas of low pressure, we've got huge amounts of cold that are stuck in place. So as this warm air tries to fight its way in, it's lighter than cold air. It's really not a matter of the warm air pushing the cold air out. It's the cold air getting out of here when it wants to. That creates a messy situation with snow going to a wintry mix. And my concern is that Saturday morning, in places that have a decent snowpack, and that's quite a bit of you, the cold temperatures may hang around long enough to create freezing rain, and there may be enough accumulation to be concerned about down trees and power lines. Maybe 1/4 of an inch in some spots, maybe 1/3 of an inch. That's heavy enough ice accumulation to maybe cause some minor concerns. Not a big, huge impact, but big enough to worry about. And of course, roadways. We're also concerned about roadways as they could easily become icy. Temperatures right now, they are cold. 5, that's the current temperature in Worcester, 8 Akron Canton, 6 in Mansfield, and 6 in Dover. Of course, it's all about the wind chill, and you see it already feels like 10 below in Worcester, 5 below Akron Canton, 6 in Mansfield, and that's because these winds are still sustained at 10 to 20 miles an hour. I do have some good news in terms of those winds, however, and that is that these winds will diminish as we go through the rest of the night. By tomorrow morning, the winds will be lighter. Take a look at this wind forecast. Notice that the winds over the lake die down. We lose a lot of the color. And then by the morning, the wind's only 5 to 10 miles an hour. The problem is, with the temperature so low, it's not going to take a lot of wind to get that wind chill back below zero to some pretty dangerous levels. What about traffic elsewhere here in Northeast Ohio? Now, we're not really seeing any major weather-related issues. Just be careful. There may still be icy spots, bridges and overpasses with the temperatures now in the single digits south of Cleveland. Watch for black ice. The salts and the chemicals that ODOT uses and the municipalities use, they tend to become less effective once the temperature drops below 20 degrees, and we're well below that, so there may be icy spots even on treated surfaces. As far as Cleveland and the Cleveland Metro, here's what we're looking at over the next 12 hours. This will take you into tomorrow morning and the commute. I don't expect snow. I expect cold temperatures and cloudy skies with maybe even a couple of sunny breaks. Let me take you right through it. So we'll start off at 11:30 this evening, maybe when Channel 3 News begins. We're going to be late after the game tonight. We'll go through tomorrow morning. Notice how that lake snow band really nicely lifts up into Lake Erie. So, Ashtabula, here's your forecast for tomorrow. Snow showers early, then maybe some flurries, but I think the intensity of the snow will really decrease during the day as temperatures, look at that in Ashtabula, getting up to near 20 degrees. For Akron, here's what you're looking at tomorrow. Temperatures starting off in the single digits early in the morning, climbing to the low 20s, and notice no snow in the forecast with just mainly cloudy skies. Mansfield, Richland County, here's your forecast. Starting off single digits, brutally cold, but getting up to near 20 by the afternoon with mostly cloudy skies. And one more stop will take you over towards Canton, where we're looking at single digits in the morning, low 20s by the afternoon, dry throughout the day, maybe even some sun breaks early. Cleveland may wake up to a couple of flurries, especially on the east side, though I think much of the day, again, spent in the 20s. And then look at that, some snowflakes popping up late in the day. We'll talk about that here next. 9 o'clock, you're finishing up the commute. Snow now pushing out over the lake. Not a big concern as far as the morning commute, other than slick spots on roadways. 12:30, Cleveland's 20. Everyone's in the mid to upper teens. 4:30, many 20s out there. And here's the deal. The temperatures actually keep rising after sunset tomorrow because of southerly winds. The clouds start to thicken as you head home from work or school in the afternoon. And then the snow approaches. Tomorrow after 7 o'clock, we'll be watching the radar closely as snow will develop around the region. I don't think this is going to be a lot of snow, but again, it could be impactful snow, especially if you've got Friday evening plans. Slick roadways, that type of deal. Temperatures will be in the 20s, so it'll be a heavier, wetter snow, and I think we could easily see 1 to 3 inches of accumulation Friday night, with some places maybe even seeing as much as 4. Watch what happens by Saturday morning as warmer air continues to mix in. Temperatures will surge above freezing up in the clouds. The surface will stay cold, mainly because I think of that snowpack. Temperatures near 30, and that's freezing rain, folks. Friday night into Saturday. In some places, it could hang on until early Saturday morning. This model has things changing over to rain by 7:30 Saturday. I'm not quite buying that quick changeover, especially with the amount of snow that we've got on the ground and the 2 days of single-digit temperatures that we're seeing. I think the ground is going to take a little bit longer than this to recover. So even at 7:30 early Saturday, we could still be dealing with areas of freezing rain. By then, it could add up to enough to actually cause a couple of areas to lose power, maybe some tree limbs down, that type of a deal, especially if we get a quarter inch or more. Quarter inch is kind of what you start to look for for effects on trees and power lines. And then as we go into Saturday afternoon, I do think this will happen. I think temperatures surge through the 40s. A couple of you that don't have snow on the ground may actually hit the low 50s. How about that? We're 5 right now in Worcester. 51 could be your temperature in just a couple of days. Incredible temperature swing around Northeast Ohio, and then that will come back down, though not as hard, Saturday night into Sunday. So here's what we're looking at in terms of your forecast for the commutes tomorrow. Single digits to start, cold, maybe a couple of sun breaks. Watch for slick spots. That's why I'm giving you that yellow light. Then cloudy and dry for the evening rush. Temperatures in the 20s. Typical cold. I think that's something that you would more expect as we go through the rest of the winter season. Take a look at the temperature trend as we go into the weekend. You see that big spike on Saturday into the 40s. Cools down again Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then temperatures start surging as we approach Christmas weekend and Hanukkah weekend, which is next weekend, as temperatures get up into the 40s. I got to tell you, looking ahead into the forecast, there are some indications that, in fact, we may see that weekend of December the 25th, temperatures well above average. So hopefully the snowpack will last, as we may not get many more additional chances past tomorrow night to really add to it. So that's the latest here. The commute is looking good for tomorrow. Cold with isolated slick spots. You're still going to have to take it easy, though I do not expect a repeat of the horrendous commute that some of you had on 71 and 77 this morning. Lake snow will end. Watch for eye alerts tomorrow morning right here on Channel 3 starting at 4:30, and of course updates right here on our Facebook page. Thanks for joining me, everybody.